Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Friday's market wrap up here at TOPGUN Options. Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, the founder, CEO here at TOPGUN Options. We got a lot to cover today. Incredible week of trading. We're going to debrief what happened at the Beautiful People Summit, Davos. We're going to talk about a nice S&P 500 iron condor. We're also going to talk about a losing trade. Losing trades happen. We got to debrief our losers just as much as we debrief our winners. What did we do wrong? How can we avoid that in the future? All that good stuff. So let's go ahead and go to the tape. Make sure you like this video and you are subscribed to our YouTube channel so you're getting all these videos as soon as they come live. I posted a podcast from when I appeared at Harvard Law School a couple months ago talking about psychedelic assisted therapy and all that good stuff. Make sure you watch episode 134 of the Max Afterburner podcast on our page. The president is still weighing his options, apparently, with Iran. He's looking for a potentially decisive move to potentially strike Iran and take out the mullahs. Kind of a quiet, simmering tension over there as they're still cracking down on people. But let's talk about the beautiful people first. Again, I know people don't want to go pay to go, read Donald Trump's Art of the Deal. The dude's been doing this. And he's like a puppet master. People it's comical to me. So let me get this straight. He wasn't even done with Venezuela, right? Hey, General Kane, draw up plans to invade Greenland. What? People go high and right. The world goes nuts. NATO goes nuts. You're absolutely insane. You can't invade Greenland. And then he's like, well, okay, how about I'm going to buy it for $700 billion. I'll make you an offer, $700 billion and $100,000 per resident. Oh my God. Talk about a great deal. It's so funny people frothing at the mouth. We bought Alaska, the Louisiana purchase, folks. This is how things work, but let's just forget about that for a little bit. What happens? He goes to Davos, NATO does this, they all do that. Here's what happens. So Denmark is going to keep paying the population of Greenland $600 million per year. Trump got exactly what he wanted. NATO and Denmark agreed to pockets on Greenland for United States military bases. We also get mineral rights, and China and Russia aren't allowed in there for nothing. One more time, I'm going to remind you, folks, if your TDS is just that raging, you got to take a microdose, go meditate, go for a walk, folks. But look at this. He went nuts, right? I'm going to invade Greenland. And then slightly less nuts. Well, then I'll buy it too. Okay, you ended up doing everything I wanted to do for free. Unbelievable, folks. And then they feel like they won. Like, aha, see, he didn't end up doing. You got it. You did everything the dude wanted. So a round trip of freaking out, everybody, freaking out all over the place, and the dude got what he wanted. Art of the Greenland deal. Get your opponent to cede territory and mineral rights for free while they still pay the natives billions a year in welfare payments and think you are the idiot for accepting the... So, folks, when that happened, right? So we covered this last week in a free video. You're welcome. I put on a bearish double vertical on the S&P 500, what I call a trade that acts like a hedge. It printed money. The next, two and a half trading days later, the market imploded. I got out. I'm like, done. Got a violent move in the direction of my trade and closed it for a 98% profit. Then what did I do? I'm like, we're going to rebound here. The Davos thing, we rebounded. I told you, it's violent in between moving averages. They're magnets. The S&P 500 gets pulled down to 1 and back up to 1. There's no life in between a moving average, right? So I put on a tactic this week called an iron condor. We did it, when was it? Wednesday. In the accelerated retirement brief, I put on a bull put spread down here, and I put on a bear call spread up there. It's called an iron condor. I just sent an alert out to close that trade. I'm closing that trade for an 85% profit. Got that order in right here. Not filled yet, but it's up 84% right now. Beautiful looking. Look at Definium. Definium is up 306%. I mean, it's my biggest gainer month to date, year to date. I guess, month to date and year to date would be the same thing in January there, Wiz. Folks, you did not miss out on Definium. I don't know why it's taking forever to load my chart. Look at this, folks. it was MindMed, right? MNMD. Look at this run. You will, God willing, wake up one day and breaking news, Johnson & Johnson has bought Definium for X amount of dollars. Folks, don't forget, man. I told you this. Spravato. Where's my tweet on Spravato here? Spravato, their S-ketamine. Here it is right here. Q4 earnings just in this single, for lack of a better word, psychedelic, $503 million in the fourth quarter. They're estimating, Johnson & Johnson, it's a $2 billion annual run rate for nasal spray, Spravato. Could you imagine when, not if, MM120 at Definium or Comp, whatever it is, at Compass or Helix. Folks, I can't say this enough. If you're not in these names, you're going to regret it. But rip your face off rally in Definium, and it's going higher. All right, now I need to debrief a loser of the week. So let's go look at the chart. JP Morgan. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a great, if you don't know what you're doing, let me teach you. Here's the earnings. You see the little E? 2.5 weeks ago, buy the rumor, right? They're going to have great earnings. So the stock goes up. It's called buy the rumor, sell the news. So the earnings were actually pretty decent, sold off. And then why are we selling off even more? Well, I could not have foreseen this was going to happen. 2 days ago, Trump suing JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon personally for $5 billion, ladies and gentlemen, for debanking. And it's so funny to read JP Morgan's statement. They kind of admitted in the statement, like, hey, we're just following the law of the last, folks. That didn't work at Nuremberg. Okay, so when the Biden administration went to Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan Chase and said, close all Trump's accounts, their main political opponent, they targeted, not only with their lawfare, but with this type of stuff too. And Jamie Dimon's defense is, we thought we were following the law, or we were following what the Biden administration was. So they're going to lose. First of all, they're not going to go to court because discovery is going to be insane. Emails or calls from the Biden administration to JP Morgan telling them to close his accounts. Oh my God, this will be an absolute insane. So this is an open and shut case, folks. So we'll see how much Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan caves for, but you knew this was coming because Trump, earlier in the week, Jamie Dimon said something about whatever, his standard Jamie Dimon type of stuff. And Trump's like, I didn't, he wasn't even in the running for Fed chief, and Jamie Dimon this, Jamie Dimon that, he's woke, and JP Morgan closed my bank accounts. I knew this was coming. So here you go. Anyway, so I put on an iron, after this happened, when we kind of were hovering here, I put on an iron condor on JP Morgan. And what happened? The bull put spread got blown out, right? Here's the basement. I did not expect, I had an inkling that Trump was going to blast Jamie Dimon in the face. Did not know it was going to be this week or when. So I lowered my bear call spread in the iron condor, and it turned into a trade called an iron butterfly to try and minimize my loss. So instead of taking, it's right here, I closed the iron butterfly. An iron butterfly is like a super tight iron condor, but there's no daylight. That's why it's called an iron butterfly. It's actually the Top Gun options on our patch is the iron butterfly symbol. So I closed that. So the iron condor was not a max loss, legged into an iron butterfly, and only took a small loss. But I got to debrief my I'm not one of those guys that just only talks about his winning trades, man. There ain't, unless you're, who was it, at thestreet.com. Oh, Lenny Dykstra. I remember when I was in Chicago and our firm was looking at buying the street. Jim Cramer, met with him, and I went and did some due diligence on thestreet.com before we were going to buy it. Thank God we didn't. Well, this is one of the reasons we didn't buy it. When I was doing due diligence, Lenny Dykstra ran like some option service. You remember, I grew up in Philly, so I knew who Lenny Dykstra was. Never had a losing trade. I'm like, okay, man, that's physically impossible. And when I dug into it, he never closed losing trades. He just kept rolling them for like infinity, for like years. So he could technically claim I've never had a losing trade. I'm like, okay, man. So if that's one of the roaches in the street.com's kitchen, we're not even going any past this. So let's stick with JP Morgan, because right now I said if it got down here, look at this chart. If it got down 297.5, folks, you see this level? We're literally sitting at 297.5 right now. I would buy it with both hands. Absolutely buy it with both hands. It is a gift down here. Let's look at like a year and a half chart. Anybody see a trend here? It's up and to the right. You want to be bullish on names that move up and to the right. Jamie Dimon, for all his wokeisms and likes playing Trump back and forth, he's a good CEO. JP Morgan is a stellar company. This is a gift. And what did I just tell you? There's violence in between moving averages. We're either going to head down to, what's the 200-day? 288. So the 200-day, the red line is down there at 289. So it might have another $10 to go. If it gets down here, I'm going to sell the house, mortgage the wife and kids, and buy everything I can with JP Morgan. Or we're going to, it looks like this. You see that red line, the dotted line? That's kind of the 297.5. That's an option strike right now, right? It's a pin. We might pin today at 297.5. But guess what? If we pin here, it's a Friday. This might be some washout selling here. If we get a little turn, I think we're going to rip back up to the 200 or the 50. And look, they crossed right now. They're touching right here. You can look all the way down here at the MACD. There was a big opening. Opening means implosion or a buy. So if they start closing here and kissing, I'm probably going to wait. I'm not doing it today. It's already Friday afternoon. I'm not going to step into JP Morgan, right? Catching a falling knife type of thing. But JP Morgan's been one of my, for decades, printing money in JP Morgan. So losing on an iron condor that I legged into an iron butterfly, I'm fine, man. Net, we are printing money on JP Morgan, but always got to debrief your losing trades with your winners. So the S&P 500, nice iron condor, more than makes up the profit for that, more than makes up for the JP Morgan little bit of a swing and a miss there. So a lot of good stuff going on, man. Again, it's just we pivot from one extreme to the other with the president. I mean, what's the weekend? What's next week have in store for the president? What on to the next thing, right? Venezuela was a couple weeks ago. Now that's Davos and Greenland. Now that's kind of put to bed. My God. I love it though, right? It does get a little exhausting. That's why I, shameless plug for my Get Maverick Mind microdoses, shameless plug for hot yoga, man. Shameless plug for meditation. You should be doing a 20-minute mindfulness meditation in the morning, and 20 minutes. I usually do mine at 3:00 right before the close, and we and stay centered, man. You really need to stay centered with everything that's going on, because it just seems like we're shifting from craziness to craziness. Good upgrade from Bank of America on Oklo, the nuke names. My nuke name is NNE. That's what I'm long-term bullish on. NNE. Nano nuclear, nano. What was that? Mork and Mindy. That's how old I am. Mork and Mindy. I'm not going to age myself even more, but we had a near-death experience here in the mid-20s. We're back up to the 30s. So Oklo, OKLO is a good nuke name. And then CCJ. CCJ is another good nuke. Wow. Yeah. Coin flipped and I picked NNE, and look what CCJ did. So good stuff. This is the one that potentially holy crap. $35 stock back in April, and it's 100 and whatever. Just because it's had this monster move doesn't mean there's not more of a monster move to come, folks, because there ain't enough power on God's green earth to power all this AI stuff that's ultimately going to take your job and destroy the world, right? So there's that. So anyway, folks, like this video, please subscribe. Please share this video, man. Please share it with folks who are interested in trading. I made a promise. It's on my whiteboard. This year, I will do Monday market outlooks, a Wednesday market intel brief, and then a Friday market wrap up. And because apparently a lot of folks love when I do these free videos. So JP Morgan, swing and a miss. S&P 500, really good looking trade. We had some short calls this week on SIBO and Amazon and our other names that are great. Raytheon's also a good one. Raytheon getting a little bit of a pullback here after, again, Trump targeting defense company CEOs printing money. But hey, man, it is what it is. If you want a $1.5 trillion defense budget next year, Mr. President, they're going to get paid. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste. And Basi. Wiz out. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you.